Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 214. This show is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we remember to celebrate 5 years of Destiny, hash out the upcoming changes to weapons and perks in the Shadowkeep sandbox, and finally, reminisce about some of our favorite Destiny 1 maps and exotic weapons. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT and CyborgSasquatch. Hello, man. What's up?
Hello, my dude.
How are you?
I'm all right. End of a long weekend and ready to do some Destiny podcasting.
Yes, I'm ready as well. I hope we're ready.
Well,
we got stuff to talk about as usual. I guess we could veer off into something totally different for the next hour and a half. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it seems like everybody else is doing that these days.
It does. But we're not doing that. We got Destiny to talk about.
All right. Yeah, now there is plenty to talk about in Destiny. We don't need to do all that. Well, how's your week been?
Man, it's been good. I don't know what is going on like the last 6 months. Work is usually steady and there's always something to do, but it has just been crazy. So it's like I'm exhausted at night, man. Like I'm falling asleep 3-4 hours before I normally do. So that's basically making my game time non-existent.
Oh, man.
I don't know. You sound like you've been pretty busy as well.
It's
you got all kinds of stuff going on.
A lot of extracurricular stuff with the kids and went to a football game this weekend with a friend and
very nice. You
had
did
some fun times
thing
after that. Yep.
Very cool.
So I'm still coming off of that, just super tough. Like my legs are killing me from like walking around, tailgating, standing all day, this and that. But I can't complain. I don't need my legs to do this show. So
no, not at all. This does feed into, this is just all for fun. We love any feedback, but this feeds right into one of our notes we took this week. We got some feedback on Podbean. We've had this feedback before, Guardian, so don't think you're the only one, but they love the show and they love our topics, but we sound like we're tired sometimes. It's like
we are tired. Sometimes.
We are tired. We are tired. Like, and this Guardian probably knows they left this most recent feedback, but it's not the first time. And we really try not to sound tired, but usually it's like 12 or 1 in the morning, maybe 11 if we start pretty quick. And it's the end of a long, busy week, and we want to play some Destiny, but we love doing this show, and we could probably go to bed, but we love doing this thing, but sometimes we might sound tired.
Bear with us. We will try to keep you awake. The worst thing is I don't want you to fall asleep because I sound sleepy.
Oh man, it's even tonight. I feel like we both sound kind of tired. But the thing is, it's also partially our voices. I mean, we both have pretty chill voices, we've been told, and I think we already knew. So then when we're tired, it sounds like we're even more tired.
Yes, I have kind of a low, slow Southern drawl. I know. So if I'm really tired, then it's like, I'm just...
it sounds like he's about to fall asleep, man. Anyways, we appreciate the feedback, though. Please keep it coming because it does kind of remind us that we have pretty chill voices, and we try to kick it up to YouTube level, which we don't ever achieve, I don't think. But we try.
I don't think it's been... I think it might have been 100 episodes since I've kicked it up to YouTube level.
Usually the hype train episodes do that, which we're getting close. But anyways, we appreciate the feedback. We always appreciate it. So we just that's always kind of funny to us. Anybody that's listened to the show for any amount of time, sorry if you've ever fallen asleep, but hopefully we entertained you.
Best entertained on coffee.
Yes.
When you listen to this show.
Yes, very much so. Anyways, we appreciate you listeners.
One thing that we missed last week because... honestly, I didn't even realize the date was coming up. But last Monday, when our show premiered, it was the 5th year anniversary of Destiny.
Craziness.
And I had to go back and check the date, and I was like, holy cow, this game is 5 years old. We did. It flew right over our heads.
It did, and we released a show on Mondays, of course, as you're listening to this. And it was on Monday and our show goes live and I'm looking at all this and we tweeted our own thing out and we're like, yeah, we totally didn't even realize what date it was.
Yeah.
Or at least when we recorded, it was several days before that. So we're doing it now. now. So anyways.
Happy 5 years, Destiny.
Happy 5 years. Destiny, Cyborg, Derp Fam, community. It's been unreal, dude. I mean, we don't have to go all crazy into this. We kind of did in our tweets, but I played this game since the PS4 alpha, and when everyone started throwing their stuff up, it's like, wow, we just dropped episode 213. Think about what you and I have done with the show, and then the Derp Fam and the community as a whole. Like it's unreal, man. It's crazy. 5 years.
It made me realize that next spring will be 5 years of Destiny Reset, which is even crazier.
I know, it's funny. We've been doing this show so long. Part of my brain, when we're talking about this or anything like that, is talking about just time that's passed. I'm like, well, we've been doing the show since the game launched. And it just feels like that because we've played since it launched, like been our main game. And then when you stop and think about it for a second, it's like, well, no. We started about a year after, but it just feels like we've been doing it that long. It's kind of crazy.
It was like the game had been live for like 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, it wasn't a full year. Yeah, pretty close. But
it's a good time. But
it was. Yep.
Hey, 5 years of Destiny. You think you're ready for another 5? You can do 5 more?
Yes, I can do 5 more. I can do 10, 15.
I feel like the next 5 can be even better than the last 5.
Oh, I agree, man. We are somewhere in this game right now we've never been before, and the future looks as bright as it ever has. So, I mean, I know TTK and all that stuff was amazing, but just to see the buzz on the team and the community and the stuff we're seeing right now and where we're going, it's been a fun ride just over the last year, much less 5 years, but just to be excited about where it's going, dude.
It was crazy.
Cool.
Luke Smith on Monday, he was on a Kind of Funny Games show they do called My Friends Are Cool, I think it is, or Our Friends Are Cool, or something like that, right? Where they have like, developers and guests and, people who make movies and games and you name it. So yeah, Luke Smith was on there with Greg Miller and Andrea Renee. And I haven't watched the whole thing. I'm like 2/3 through it, but he was talking about how long he's been making Destiny, because they started making Destiny before Reach even released. And he was mentioning since, I think, what was it, maybe 2010 or something? I don't remember. He's been working on it. And he said, it's at a point where like a third or half of my life, he said, because it's been like for him, I think 15 years or something. I don't know. Maybe it was 10 years. He's been working on Destiny. It was a really long time, and makes you appreciate how much time the developers have put into the game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to think about, we started playing this game at the earliest, the alpha. I mean, to think about all the time that was spent before that, right?
Developing it for years and years before that. At least 5 years before that, it was in concept. So, yeah.
Pretty cool.
A lot goes into it.
Cool stuff.
But hey, here's to another 5. And I hope in 5 years we get some answers to some questions.
Yep. Here's to, man.
What's inside that sphere in the sky?
Yep.
Is Cade going to come back to life? Will we see Marasov again? Will we see what's under Shax's helmet? Will we ever go back to the original tower?
Will No Land Beyond ever come back to us?
That's the big one.
That is, isn't it? You knew that was mine.
Will I ever get Plan C back?
Oh, true. We'll touch on this later in the show, actually. We got some good discourse, Derp Fam discourse.
All right. Do we have any other announcements this week?
I don't believe so, no, other than, happy 5 years, Guardians. It's been great.
Excellent. Well, how about some news?
Let's do it. We got
we got the news.
It's a director's cut part something every TWAB right now.
Almost. I mean,
not quite as long this week, but there's still
great patch notes and stuff.
Some juiciness.
Some interesting changes to the sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, there's like, I guess it was pre-Forsaken with the Go Fast that we last saw updates to the sandbox this significant, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
So it's been over a year plus, I would guess.
This is like one of those that you feel like it's going to be a brand new game.
Mm-hmm.
It'll feel like a brand new game.
Yeah, I'm in mixed feelings about it, but we'll talk about that. So first off, this week at Bungie, we're looking into the near future. So we've heard a lot about how Shadowkeep is going to change the way we play Destiny, but they've got some news and a nice little calendar like we're used to seeing, showing what we're going to be seeing through the fall, which was exciting to see. The plan over the next few months of content, right? October, at the very least, October and November.
Mm-hmm. Of course we've been getting these, but I was not expecting it quite yet in the TWAB.
Yeah,
and it kind of seals the deal on some question marks I had, but that's okay.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind, December is not usually a time that you get a lot of activity of anything like new or unique in Destiny. December seems to be kind of low key for many reasons, but so we're not. I would be surprised if there wasn't much going on. Maybe besides the Dawning, right? Probably see some Dawning action this winter.
Yeah, I don't want to skip ahead, but this threw me off when I saw Festival of the Lost on here. We'll get to it, but we were talking, I think, before we recorded last week, and like what usually happens, not in Destiny, in life. We were talking about fairs and stuff, and you're like, that's not usually till like September, man. And you're like, wait, it's September. I had that. I had that moment when I'm like, wait, hold on. Like a reality check of what month we're in. What roadmap am I looking at? Festival of the Lost already?
Right.
What is happening? Anyways, I'm skipping ahead. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So we've got a nice little roadmap here. We've got a few things to look forward to, both through Shadowkeep and through the season, right? I'm looking at a number of things that look really cool. So we've got Shadowkeep launch, and they detail the base game, like what's free to play when New Light launches, which is a number of things. So we get the Moon Destination opening, we get our seasonal artifact, finishers, Armor 2.0, 2 new strikes, the Festering Core and the Scarlet Keep. I think that's kind of interesting that those are going to be on the free to play and not part of Shadowkeep.
Right.
But then when you think about it, like you're going to have those things in the strike playlist, it's going to be hard to segregate them out of the free to play game,
Right. Yeah.
But interesting that people will get that for free. I guess it's a great taste if you're not sure about the content for you to check out something new. So that's cool.
I think it's cool. Yeah.
Also, you get Crucible updates. 2 reprise maps, they're calling them, so Widow's Court and Twilight Gap, which
pumped for those.
Yeah, Twilight Gap. Okay, not a fan personally, but
I'm definitely pumped for Widow's Court. But again, I would love to have my weapon back. That's okay.
Yeah,
Underland.
We're also getting a new PvP map fragment we heard about last week. Crucible Labs, we get elimination and the free seasonal rank rewards. So a lot of cool stuff. Just if you're not buying Shadowkeep at all, which I don't know why you would do that, but cool for you. Or if you're going to be a new player, you'll have a lot of cool, fun new stuff to play, right? And not have to pay for everything. So I think it's going to be an effective strategy to try to get some new players in the game and engaged, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't. It seems like it would be hard to differentiate between the two for them, let alone us. Like what's free and what's not. It's what you're getting and what you got to pay for. But this is a lot of stuff. I love that they're just laying it out for us like this, and people are able to play the game without buying the latest content. So, help them decide maybe not to or to go for it. You know what I mean? So, plenty to do without purchasing.
Now, then we're going to get some details on the rest of the season. So Season of the Undying is running October through December. So October 5th, of course, we see the raid launch, which is, I think it's called Garden of Salvation. Was that right? I think it was the name. Which I'm still intrigued by this name, this activity. I love it. And then also concurrently, the Vex Offensive begins. So I imagine something that's going to happen in the raid is going to trigger this seasonal content that have to do with the the Vex, which makes sense because historically the Vex have had a lot of intertwinings with the Black Garden.
Right.
And they had, all the way back to Destiny 1. If you've never played the mission, go watch a video. It still doesn't make any sense, but hey, the Vex were there and there was a black heart and we killed it or something. And yeah, that's the thing. So, on the 8th of October, Hero and Legend Nightmare Hunts. So if you remember, they have the new difficulties that we're getting now. Starting with Shadowkeep, it's no longer just normal and heroic, right? Right. So these are the two difficulties that we're going to see. On the 15th, we get the Master Nightmare Hunts and an Iron Banner. Iron Banner returns with that Vexy new armor. The 22nd, we get an exotic quest for the that heavy bow, I think it is, called Leviathan's Breath. That looks pretty cool. The 29th through November 19th, we get Festival of the Lost. You got any speculation on what we'll see for Festival of the Lost this year, man?
No idea.
I'm hoping for
Another
just a
iteration.
reprise of last year's activity. I'd be super excited.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was more
so
well
much
received last year. Yeah. Again, I was just thrown off that it was even on here. I can't. I mean, I knew fall was here, but this just really seals the deal.
Did you think that we wouldn't have it, or are you just surprised because it's
just timing. I figured we would have it, but I did not have Festival of the Lost anywhere. Who knows? I don't even know what's going on, like how it's already September, right? And so just seeing it on here was just like, wow, okay, all right, it is this time of year. So if you would have asked me and brought it to my attention, I would have said, yeah, we'll definitely see Festival of the Lost again.
Spookiest time of the year. My son asked me today, he said, Dad, can we decorate for Halloween this year? And I was like, well, what do you have in mind? He's like, I want a spooky skeleton on the front porch. It's like, yes, we will do that.
Very nice. Yeah, we usually do like the webbing and some stuff on the little front yard.
He asked for like a fog machine. I was like, well, we'll see.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're going to take a look at the budget, son.
We'll see what we can do. All right. Aside there. Okay, so also on October 29th, alongside the Festival of the Lost, we get a launch of a new dungeon, which is really exciting.
Didn't do this previously, right? The dungeon was just something people found?
I'm trying to remember if
Shattered Throne just something people found.
Yeah, Shattered Throne was on the map, I think originally, because
like the road map or the map in the game.
Yeah, like the road map.
Really?
I'm pretty
okay.
Sure.
I didn't think it was.
I think so. I'd have
just
to go back and check,
right.
but I remember.
I believe you. You've ran it. I have not. So
I don't think it was a surprise.
Okay. I think it's cool to see it on the roadmap. I don't think necessarily something like that needs to be just something you experience randomly in the game or secret or not. Or just,
they have explained, are a different activity than the missions like for Black, I want to say Black Hammer, Black Spindle, whatever it's called, Whisper of the Worm. Mm-hmm. The missions for Whisper of the Worm and for Outbreak are not dungeons. They're missions.
Right.
And so the dungeons have not been like total surprises, and they're a planned activity.
Well, this, for me, it's as simple as this. Even though I'm still a Shatterthrone noob and I haven't ran it yet, I plan to at some point. I just love the fact that we have things in the game called dungeons now.
Heck yeah, man.
It's like when we got runes in Opulence. Like runes and dungeons just seem like something like that, named that, should be in a game like Destiny.
Yeah. Well,
Simple as that.
I love how much we're going to have to do. You know, there's going to be the Shadowkeep, obviously like story content I'm expecting. You've got the new strikes. You're going to have the nightmare hunts. You're going to have a new dungeon. We're going to have the raid challenges. There's something coming up called the Vex Offensive Final Assault on the 19th. I don't even know what that is. There's all this cool stuff we're going to have to do. And then isn't there there's the Nightmare Hunts, and that's for Shadowkeep, but then there's the Vex activity or something that's part of the season that I think is a different activity. I might be confused.
I know this
here.
is why I was saying last week they were talking about how they couldn't keep what they were doing up. You know, it was just too demanding on the team. And again, this is like kind of a restructuring, and we went into that a little bit, but this still seems like, wow, okay, this is a lot. And granted, I know it's a fall release. They're comparing it to the size of Rise of Iron, so this isn't like a middle of the year kind of release thing, if you will. I guess not necessarily middle of the year, first of the year in the case of Destiny's cycle, but it's still, like you said, it seems like a ton, dude. Like there's a ton going on here, whether it's all the way to Festival of the Lost or these different activities you're talking about. We have no idea what they are. So yeah, plenty to do.
New PvP mode, holla, momentum control. So we don't know anything about this yet. Do you have any guesses?
I've tried to speculate a little bit, but I really don't know. I mean, the word momentum seems like a very important word. Control, obviously. So is it going to be some take on control, like what we think of as control, or is this something brand new? I wouldn't think they would use control if it wasn't some iteration of it.
Control, like momentum is describing the type of control game we're playing,
right?
Or is
That's
it literally
the way I look at it.
You're controlling momentum, like
right? Yeah, I take it as a spin on control. What this did, and I'm excited. I'm always excited for any attention to PvP. But what this did do is like just drive in the nail all the way of like, okay, we don't have anything random possibly coming for PvP. Like as far as what I was hoping was. Like, what I was hoping was coming.
Right? Yeah.
Something in game. Maybe this could be in game, I guess, but it seems more like another mode for quick play or something of that nature. Could be wrong, but I'm excited. I don't want it to come out that way.
Well, let's look at the total picture in PvP, right? We get all the playlists completely revised. We get a solo playlist for competitive. Competitive is totally bolstered and changed. The system, at least. We get a new system for competitive. We get elimination in Crucible Labs. We get a new PvP mode. We've got a new map and 2 returning maps. That's not a bad bit of content. I mean,
not at all.
It's consolation prize for those that want trials.
Yeah, it's totally all. That's the thing is, like in the grand scheme, it's quite a bit, and I don't want to downplay that at all. There's definitely some attention being put on PvP this fall, which is a good thing. Quite a bit. I mean, when you talk about the restructuring, that's not new content, but at least it's attention. It's a first step towards even more, down the road. But yeah, it definitely, even all packaged together, is a consolation prize. For all of us that are not necessarily wanting trials back, but wanting something in the end game realm of PvP that brings that excitement back.
I was trying to think of it this way.
Maybe who knows?
We'll
see.
If they had announced a month ago that there would be no raid for Shadowkeep because it was not ready, and no date on the raid and no promises for if we would get it and when, I would be pretty hurt right now.
Right. That's a very good comparison.
That is how the PvP community feels. It's not a perfect correlation between those, but
now take that and think about
those shoes.
Think about how long Trials has been gone now.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man. with tough. No in-game equivalent. And when I say equivalent, I don't necessarily mean, I mean, that's a big task to try to find something. If you didn't bring back trials to try to create and bring something into the game that people would be as happy with, but I don't even mean that. I just mean something that is considered end-game PvP, because I don't consider comp that. Like, and not that it's supposed to be that, but
it's just a mode.
Right. It's just a mode. And I'm not saying they said that is supposed to be that. I just mean it's not trials, and we haven't gotten anything that is the level of. Again, when I say level, I just mean
it's like a feature.
For.
It's like a feature end game PvP activity, right? That's what that's what we want.
So, but you're right. When you step back and you think about all the attention PvP is getting in every other area, it's looking pretty good for Shadowkeep, considering everything else we're getting as well on the PvE side of the game. So
it's certainly getting some love. It's not it's not left on the floor.
Yeah, and it could be, I mean, look at this as, and I think we've said this before too. I mean, we had some major foundational stuff that needed to happen to Destiny, period, for the PvE side of the game to get back to certain areas. So if nothing else, what they're doing here, that's what's happening with PvP here. So
a bunch of changes made to the sandbox are going to be impacting PvP as well. Mm-hmm. Super energy, orbs, super regen, ability usage, the new armor system.
Right.
It's almost smart for those things to get rolled out and see how it impacts the PvP community as a whole and in different modes before they roll out something like trials, where if something is underutilized, underpowered, overpowered, something's being abused, those have a better chance of getting shaken out this season. And, maybe in the next seasons, we see something new in a more stable sandbox environment. Like, the players have had a chance to acclimate. Outliers have had a chance to be stamped down or brought up or whatever needs to happen.
Yeah, no, you definitely have a good point. It probably wouldn't be the best idea to release some sort of in-game. It just, the timing isn't what is working out for them. Like, it's PvP needs some attention. Yeah, and PvP is getting attention, but we've been, the PvP community's been waiting a really long time, so we're excited it's getting attention. But hopefully, maybe, like you said, in one of the next seasons, we'll see some sort of focus on in-game PvP. And again, though, I don't want that to be the season. I mean, we saw that with Gambit. Like, I don't want to be a whole season to be focused on PvP, even being a PvP guardian. Like, they got to find a happy medium, right? Because that's when people skip seasons or, aren't too thrilled, depending on how you play the game. But anyways, I think you're right. It might have been rough to try to drop something like that. And maybe with all those hints we got in the director's cut and with Elimination coming back in Crucible Labs, maybe you're right. Maybe like the next season, they're mustering up something pretty sweet. So we'll see.
Yep.
Maybe.
We will see.
But I'm excited about this new game mode. I think it's a take on Control, but I could be wrong. Momentum Control.
I'm excited to play something new in PvP.
We're going to have a lot of nodes.
Yeah. Well, next up, we get a preview to the sandbox update with weapons. Last week, it was abilities and other things, right? This week, it's all about the weapons. Some weapons and archetypes are getting buffs, some getting nerfs, and various other things. So let's just kick this off. We'll kind of go through this bit by bit. First off, combatants, minor enemies, which is the rank and file, red bars, right? They no longer take more precision damage than other enemies. So their note is these enemies previously took twice as much damage to their precision hit locations than enemies of higher ranks. You'll still deal precision damage, but it's now entirely dependent on the weapon as it is for higher ranked enemies. I'm going to get into some takes I've read on the math with this, but it has the potential to change a good bit of gameplay. If you imagine with some enemies, you might be able to, say, take a certain hand cannon and get headshots and one-hit kill a red bar that may not always be possible in the future, depending on the weapon and the archetype and other things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what the general purpose behind this is, but what I'm seeing when I look across the sandbox changes overall is like we're going to see buffs to a number of weapons and archetypes here, but it's a little deceptive if you don't think about the bigger picture with this change, and also to how precision damage is going to be dealt and other stuff like that, because you may see here a change to scout rifle damage, but then if you if you look at how that will affect red bars or some of the changes to range fall off and stuff like that, it almost appears there could be a nerf to scout rifles in some cases. So a lot of this you got to take with a grain of salt until we see how it works in the overall sandbox, because there's also things that they could do that we're not really sure about. There's this whole thing where they're like rescaling damage, and we're not sure how damage is going to work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So we could read all these notes and take all these guesses and be totally wrong about how a lot of this stuff is going to work until we get it. So just take everything that you hear here with a grain of salt. That's all I want to say.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so that's minor enemies. Some general changes include weapon mods are now treated as reusable. They're no longer consumable like they are now, where you have to have like multiples of mods. But you're going to need to keep in mind that in order to use something, if you don't have a copy of it in your inventory, you're going to, like, say you have it on a gun, so you've had it before, you're going to have to get another copy to use it on other guns. So you might want to be on the lookout for common weapon mods that you don't have a copy of, but you have on a gun. Even
you can like buy them from the gunsmith leading up.
Yep. Get one from the gunsmith. Maybe dismantle it from a weapon that you don't expect that you're going to use a lot, because it's just sitting there, because you may be looking for ways to unlock those in the future.
Yeah. I mean, this should have, I say should have, it would have made sense if this was already like that. Obviously, they're adopting this system with the armor stuff that's coming in 2.0, so it made sense that they would switch it now, but it completely makes sense that the system should work this way. I don't know, I always have that thought in games. Like, I do enjoy having to find something and use it, and then having to go get it again if you need it for something else, but it doesn't always work best that way. I don't mind it in some games and in certain areas of Destiny, but this is an example of when it makes sense that weapon mod should be this way, right? Once you acquire it,
I like just being able to unlock a mod and just you can use it from then out. Now, it's going to cost you materials. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So the rarity is going to be in the material, not the mod
finding
itself.
of the mod,
right?
Or a copy of it, yeah.
It
just makes sense in a game like Destiny, especially it seems like when we're getting into the detailedness of our builds that we're coming back to here with Shadowkeep, that these type of things isn't what we want to go looking for. We want to just be able to swap it in and out to see what it does to our build, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Now for some buffs. Auto rifles. PvE damage increased between 30 and 25%, depending on the combatant rank. Bows get a PvE damage increase by 31% against minors, 26% against majors. And they fix an issue with bow draw times displaying incorrectly. This could mean something good for bows.
Mm-hmm.
They're already, when you hit an enemy, they do a good amount of damage.
Right.
So this could help them be more utilized, I would hope.
And I've been pleasantly surprised. We'll talk about it in Reset, but I've been using Trinity Ghoul to get my Hush done. And I was kind of dreading it, honestly, because I'd used bows a little bit in Gambit, but surprisingly, it destroys. So I think you're right. They're not like in a super bad place if you can hit your target, especially precision hit. But this is super promising. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Hand cannons, PvE damage against miners increased by 30%. Lightweight and adaptive hand cannons use a new firing animation while aiming down sights. They get into some of the reason why that is. They've reduced the effect the range stat has on damage, range, fall off, effective range for the weapon archetype. Ultimately, this means they're bringing hand cannons range in a little bit. So you may find yourself being a little bit less effective at ranges that you were used to before. Which there's some hand cannons in PvE that you can get some kind of surprising range out of with precision
Last
hits.
Word. All these clips I see of players using Last Word and they ADS with it, just like I used to back in D1 as well. And you can destroy in D2 ADS with the Last Word, controlling it. I still shoot that thing from the hip, and it is unbelievable. It's its own beast. It's not, just your typical hand cannon, but it is unreal, the range you can kill people out with that thing. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Machine guns get a 25% buff against minor enemies, but also increasing the effects of damage, range, fall off. This could mean machine guns become a lot less effective at some of the ranges they are, especially when you see people come out with a really stable machine gun and just map you in Gambit.
Right,
I think this is
Gambit's
where that's going to help.
Exactly what I was thinking about. Yep.
Because you don't want to buff their damage nerf their damage necessarily, because their strength is rank and file stuff right now. So if you nerf them to deal with problems like invaders in Gambit or even in Crucible, they're going to lose a lot of their utility. So they got to work somewhere. I think this will help solve that problem. Pulse rifles, PvE damage against miners increased by 28%. Increase the effects of damage, range, fall off. Wonder what this could mean for pulses. They're bringing in pulses a bit, I guess, to give scouts some more room to breathe.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Then they're doing some things with specific damage changes with different archetypes. Rapid fire and high impact pulse rifles get some changes to their numbers. They do a little bit more base and precision damage with rapid fire, but high impact get brought in a little bit. Not tremendous, just a tad. Now, scout rifles get an increase 36% or 18%, depending on rank. That's a pretty good buff. If you put on the right scout, they're already pretty good. This could make them really good.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't wait to see how my Polaris Lance
that thing still destroys in the Crucible.
So
just so many options.
Yep. Sidearms get an increase to minor and majors, 16%. Sniper rifles. This is a big one. PvE damage increased by 47% against minors and 20% for others.
Mm-hmm.
No changes to range. So they also mention exotic sniper rifle perk damage bonuses were modified to compensate for this, and they will not receive the full benefits as a result. But legendary snipers, it's a pretty big increase. Finally, submachine guns, 22.5% buff. And then some changes to aggressive frames and how they work, with some bonus damage changes. And for instance, Taraba and the Huckleberry both get 10% damage increase in both PvE and PvP. So they're removing an intrinsic effect of dealing bonus damage at close range. It said the bonus was 10%, but unintentionally always active. So what that means is it was still working at long range instead of just at close range, which makes like Huckleberry just ridiculous if you've ever put it on.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the Catalyst, oh man, Huckleberry is ridiculous. Anyways, you want to go over these exotics?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've got several tweaks to exotics coming up here with this patch. First off, Sweet Business getting a magazine size, increase 100 to 150, increased PvE damage by 15%. High caliber rounds have been replaced with armor piercing rounds, and the damage has changed to 15 and 21.2 base and precision versus 13.21 and 21.14 on base and precision. This weapon will no longer require you to be firing when you pick up ammo to have it automatically reload. So a lot of changes to Sweet Business.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I just never think to get that gun out. I don't know why, because, well, one, it's your exotic slot, right? There's just always high competition for that slot with your weapons. But as much as I love autos and stuff, I'm surprised I don't think to get that one out more. It's like the ultimate auto.
I had a lot of fun playing around with that for some quest. I don't remember what it was, but I ran around with that thing for like a week in the Crucible, and it's obnoxious.
It's like I don't always like when they force us to play with a certain weapon type or weapon period, and but sometimes it is cool because it makes you use things you wouldn't have otherwise. And obviously that's partially their goal. But it does work sometimes. And it's like, wow, okay, I do like this. For example, using Fighting Lion in strikes to get Wendigo. Like, I don't know that I ever would have got out a grenade launcher like that, but it was an absolute blast. Not in PvE anyways. I've used them in PvP and I love them, but to use them against, AI, I was just like, it's okay, I'll use something else. But, it was super fun. So, I don't know, some of this stuff you got to keep on your radar and try to remember to get them back out and see how they feel. For example, haven't had out in forever my Graviton Lance. This is getting a PvE damage increase by 30%. This thing was a beast for a while, wasn't it?
And it's still really good.
Mm-hmm. But it's classic. Like, I vaulted the thing. I love this weapon, but vaulted it, and I don't know that I've had it on a character in months, many months. Moving right along, Sunshot. This is the other big one they teased. Increased magazine size to 12. This has been majorly requested by the community for a while now for Sunshot to have more rounds in the mag, please. So that works. Vigilance Wing. PvE damage increased by 25%.
I don't know if I've ever used Vigilance Wing in PvE.
I don't know that I have either. Yeah. It's always funny, too. It's kind of how the community... I guess advertises things, if you will, as well, because Vigilance Wing was just so potent in the Crucible forever. So I feel like it just kind of got coined as the Crucible weapon, right? Yeah, but I don't know. Here you go. Maybe this will do it for you. Crimson, damage changed to 19 over 30.5. That's base versus precision over precision. Previously 13.76 over 24.75. So a decent increase there. And then they say they fixed an issue that was causing this weapon to deal higher flinch than intended.
Crimson needed some help because I've been trying to work through the catalyst on that, and it just felt really inconsequential when you shot an enemy in the face.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
it's one of those different weapons.
I would shoot another, like if it was a pulse and I shot in pulse range at a minor combatant, it would drop them. But with Crimson, sometimes that was not the case.
Right. Yeah.
So this should help.
I think so. Merciless. Fixed the missing aim assist stat for this weapon. All right. A little bit of attention for Merciless. Ace of Spades. Memento Mori damage bonus is now affected by range fall off. Didn't even know it wasn't. Guess that never crossed my radar. That makes sense. Lumina. Noble rounds should apply their buff to allies more reliably now. That one's kind of...
I didn't know that was a problem.
Yeah, I kind of remember a video or two seeing... some of the interesting things it could do, but I didn't think it was rampant. The Colony, last one on the list here. Serve the Colony now functions as auto loading holster does. So there's a unique little change there, yeah.
All right, now some changes to perks. Changes to subsistence, reducing the impact on this perk on total reserves. Here's a big one, ricochet rounds. removed the hidden bonus to damage fall off. So if you didn't know what this was, a long time ago, I think when Destiny 2 released, it was explained that for the perk Ricochet Rounds, which allows you to bounce your bullets off corners, they added a range bonus, I think, that affected damage fall off, because what would happen was if you're using a gun like a Pulse or a auto rifle or a SMG or something, right, and you bounce some rounds off, by the time they ricocheted and hit the target, the range fall off affected it in such that it would just do a minimal amount of damage, so it just didn't do anything useful. So they added a boost to it, basically, that made it so that damage fall off was either negated or much, much, much less. Well, what that unintended consequence was that any gun with ricochet rounds gave it this huge range boost to how it affected damage fall off. So a lot of people would look for guns with ricochet rounds for that purpose. Mm-hmm. And so that's no longer going to be a thing.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Swashbuckler, the perk now activates when getting a kill with ball lightning. Grave Robber, that perk now activates when getting a kill with ranged melee abilities like the explosive knife or ball lightning. And then 1-2 punch, reduce the effectiveness of stacking 1-2 punch and cross counter. That's from Liar's Handshake. So, example, players won't be able to defeat Riven in less than 3 seconds after Shadowkeep launches using the combo of 1-2 punch and Liar's Handshake. So this is what a lot of folks have been doing recently to do things like the Shattered Throne bosses and Riven solo, using this these perks to stack to just do like insane amounts of damage. Mm-hmm. So those are the changes to perks and to exotics and weapons. I'm eager to see how all this plays out.
Yeah, I am too. And they hint as well that we'll be seeing more previews with a few more, 2 more TWABs before release. So
yeah. Next up, we see an update to Reckoning. You know, we saw a couple weeks ago some changes to Reckoning and just the overall activity, like some enemy health was reduced and other things like that. But they're going to additionally remove all negative modifiers from Reckoning. So they're going to get rid of, what were some of the modifiers? I think Blackout made it just obnoxious on some days. Mm-hmm. Especially if you were dealing with those Dark Blade bosses. That's what it made it really bad. So it says the activity will continue to feature a weekly Singe with a daily rotation of Brawler, Grenadier, and Heavyweight. So hopefully this should make the activity even more fun, especially if you're out there trying to grind and try to get a certain gun or build or what have you. Should address some of the problems that make it not fun at times, right?
Yeah, and I think they kind of hint here too as well, like when you're matchmaking and such. I just want it to be something fun you can jump in and just destroy. So hopefully it feels like that.
Yeah, I'm not after any particular guns.
I'm not really
Reckoning.
Either. Yeah,
I've had enough Reckoning. To be honest,
I haven't been in there in a while either, but nothing's just popped up on my radar that I need.
Everybody seems to be after spare rations right now.
Yeah,
it seems to be the big thing.
Which you can get from just Gambit, right?
Yeah, you can get it
Prime?
from Gambit too. It's just a match of Gambit is probably going to take longer than
doing that. So yeah, especially with running with the fire team or something. I'm sure. Yeah. I've been obviously grinding Gambit, like I mentioned, and I've gotten a few here and there. Nothing too crazy, but that's the new hotness, the new old hotness.
Yeah. The new old hotness. Player support, we're getting a hot fix this coming reset. They said it targets an issue which is preventing a certain subset of players from enabling cross save and marks the removal of negative modifiers from the Reckoning. So nothing major there, just a couple little tweaks, but definitely major if you couldn't set up your cross save. That's a big change. Additionally, they're talking about reminding players to link your Steam account to your Bungie.net profile, because we are moving to Steam, of course, coming up here. So you're going to want to do something about that. Keep in mind, so they mention as well, any existing PC player who links a Steam account to their Bungie.net profile will automatically be migrated forward to the Steam ecosystem. To prevent the unintentional loss of Guardians, game licenses, and silver. Whew, sounds scary. It is imperative that all PC players make sure they are linking their correct Steam account to their Bungie.net profile. I don't know why you would have more than one, but make sure you got the right one, or you could lose everything.
That would not be good.
Ugh. I remember there was like weird stuff that happened in Destiny 1 where people could lose their Guardians, and that was like, that would have to be just probably the most heartbreaking thing ever, right?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty close to it, Destiny related.
I don't think I could live on. That's it for Destiny player support. We got a movie of the week. A little homage to the Husky Raiders here.
Yeah.
Some dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always like these.
For you Borderlands players. By the way, did you grab the Borderlands, man?
I did not. I've been tempted a couple times, and I keep seeing these screenshots with legendaries, which are Destiny exotic equivalents in Borderlands, like with the Diablo beam to the sky. Not quite that far, but and it has tempted me. And I love Borderlands, but I'm like, man, I don't know when I'm gonna play it right now.
Yeah,
I have not picked it up yet.
Well, you are also a gearhead, and
yes,
Gears 5 came out this week. Have you picked up Gears?
I did pick up Gears. Though, and this is probably what's contributing to some of my Borderlands decisions, is I haven't been able to play it much yet. I played like
gaming season,
2 matches and like launched into the intro stuff, but that's about it. I hope to put some more time into it. I love though, man. I know like sometimes they're kind of on the surface type of campaigns. I've always enjoyed them though, but just to grab like a snack and a drink and just sit back and play a Gears campaign is just fun. It's old school fun.
Well, I've heard like really, really good things about the campaign.
I have too, and I've heard it's really long as well. I don't, it's not necessarily a great thing, but it sounds like people have enjoyed it. So, short or long, it's apparently a good campaign.
Well, I started a playthrough with some buds, and I'm in like Act 2 after 2 sessions. So yeah, it's got some length to it, one might say.
Yeah, it's just maybe it's just partially nostalgic for me. I just sitting down and playing a Gears campaign is something I've always done, or at least over the last many years. So I see that possibly happening with this one as well. But
sorry, I'm skipping over into reset territory.
Oh, we are. We totally did. You got to ask a question.
I don't know why I got distracted on this. Talking about Gears.
We'll continue the Gears conversation.
Yeah. Well, let's circle back around to that. Movies of the week. Check those out. Those are awesome as always. And then we had a great little post from Dimji about how he met Cosmo, which I thought was kind of funny. And just talking about friendships made through Destiny, and I think that's amazing. So go and read this. It's very nice and heartwarming. Love those 2 guys, our community managers. And that's the TWAB this week. Do we have any other news? Oh yeah, we had the Menagerie rewards.
Yes, we threw that in our notes here. It was basically DMG tweeted out extra rewards will be removed at the end of Season of Opulence as far as Menagerie goes, but they're thinking about doing Menagerie weeks or weekends, kind of like the Increased Valor and Infamy. So that's an interesting take on Menagerie for them to do something like that.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, he kind of just tweeted that out in response to someone this past week, but yeah.
Yeah, you can get a bunch of, I think right now, when I was doing Menagerie the other night, you can get 3 of an item when you pull it from the chest.
Believe so.
Yeah. Yep. So now, but it is all the same item. Some people were confused about that.
Yeah. Whatever you slotted,
whatever you put in.
Yeah.
But it's cool to be able to get like more than one copy.
I mean, it kind of makes it feel like it used to feel, right? Especially getting 3 of them.
Now you can't, stack a bunch of different stuff, or different guns. But if you want to get a bunch of copies of one gun or armor, whatever it is that you want, then you're in luck.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting take on a old activity as well. I mean, Menagerie was very well done, so to think about doing something like that with old activities kind of brings them back forward and allows you to even more so want to go back and grind for certain things. But Menagerie is a little unique in the regard that you can farm all kinds of different things.
You can farm loot, but in a very direct way.
Yeah,
that's where it shines.
Old weapons, new weapons.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, so that's the news this week. Nothing else crazy going on. Just Bungie and getting ready for Shadowkeep.
Yeah, I know. I was
hearing about it. I
thinking
want to play it.
It would already have been here, right? And I would not have been ready for it.
Yeah, true that.
It would have been last week, right? Yeah, this past reset. Yeah, I would not have been ready. I'm trying to wrap some things up, which is what we said we had. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But anyways, I'll probably continue. You guys have heard a little of my reset already. Cyborg, how's your reset been, buddy?
Yeah, man. So as we discussed, I grabbed the Gears of War.
Yes.
Played that a little bit, maybe a couple hours over a couple nights. And it's fun so far. I mean, it's Gears, right? And Gears is just fun.
Gears is Gears.
I really like you're a PvE or PvP Gears fan.
Yeah.
More so.
Yep. That's what I was about to start dabbling into.
Your torque bow. They have these cool things in Gears called relic weapons, which are like versions of the weapons that will do like additional damage perhaps, but there might be like some of them there's no negative, but some of them might have like a drawback to that. Like it may have less ammo or something like that, but you just kind of find them out in the world and you can use them until you run out. Oh, there's a Lancer with a grenade launcher that's pretty awesome.
Oh, nice.
And the grenade, like you target it with a laser and then you shoot it. It shoots up in the air and then lands like a mortar. It's kind of cool. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun. I'm eager to see how the story plays out because I'm surprisingly hearing a lot about the story specifically. So I want to finish it, but Borderlands came out. I have not cracked it open yet. I did buy it and download it, and all my buddies are talking about it and how much fun it is. What I'm hearing is if you loved Borderlands 2, you're going to love Borderlands 3. If you've never played Borderlands 3, you may not know what to expect and may or may not like it.
Yeah, if you've never played 2, you meant, sorry.
Yeah.
I think you said 3. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And if you're coming from Destiny as well and never played Borderlands 2, it's
not
a bit
Destiny.
Different. Yeah, no.
Yeah, not at all.
That's another thing I'm kind of worried about is like I saw Gathalion like talking about, they're having some issues on the PC version. I don't know anything like detail, but it's console 2 really okay.
Yeah.
And like apparently he was saying that gameplay loot for him is amazing, which is a big deal, hearing the Destiny players say that. But of course the issues and stuff have been kind of prominent. Yeah, but that's okay though, right? That can be fixed. Granted the game did launch, but it's like that's Borderlands 2 before was always about you go in and we went in and even in Borderlands 1 like I think we farmed some stuff. Borderlands 2 was definitely more streamlined in that regard. We farmed bosses, we did this, did that. But I'm just worried after playing Destiny for so long, like how long am I or me and my buddies gonna play Borderlands? You know what I mean? Like, and you also kind of have to look at it like there's definitely $60 worth of a game there.
Yeah.
And you can't really judge a game on like, okay, am I going to play it for the next 5 years? Because that's not typically how you play a game.
I think there's a small part of the Borderlands community that, just like any other game, they play it and they want to farm it for awesome guns and they want to master every corner of everything.
Right.
But I don't think the majority of Borderlands players ever really played the game that way.
Yeah.
I think there's some people that look at it that way and its potential there. Personally, like, I only played Borderlands 2 through like twice, maybe 3 times. Maybe I think it was like 2.5 times, we'll call it. And it was I did one playthrough on my original character, and then we did like half a game plus playthrough, right? And then I started another character with some friends and used a different class. But that's all I played. Like,
that sounds about exactly what I did, except on that second class that I made, I didn't make it very far, I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't like farm bosses. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I did do that.
To do that. But I'm not saying,
and
like,
this is
there's
pre-Destiny,
no fun in that.
right?
Yeah, this is way before Destiny.
Yeah, so
right?
like when we're farming bosses, this is pre-Destiny talk. But it's weird, like, I don't know, just playing Destiny for so long. Like when I play Borderlands, it's a loot. I mean, it is definitely got like Diablo vibe about it when it comes to its loot. Like I see those screenshots, like I said, and I tonight I saw a screenshot on my Twitter feed of a gold beam, and I'm just like, my goodness, do I need to get this?
The cool thing though is, like, you can play, and you don't have to farm stuff to continue to get cool loot because it's all randomly generated. So like I never had the urge to be like, oh, let me farm for this one type of gun from this one boss. I was just excited about a new gun at every turn. Yeah. You know?
Well, see, and it's like, you don't necessarily, need years and years out of Borderlands. Borderlands definitely, to me, seems like a game. It was a game. You played a ton, and then you didn't come back to it until some DLC dropped, right? And that's what we fought so hard to not have in Destiny for so long, is like we always want to play Destiny. And Borderlands isn't really that kind of game for the most part. And part of me just wants to go pick it up. I mean, I bought Anthem, for crying out loud. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not even playing that game right now. And it was supposed to be, and there's a whole nother conversation there, but it was going to be more like a Destiny. But maybe you don't need that, especially when you're playing Destiny, right? Borderlands is a nice game. But the thing about Borderlands is you can't, I can't just go pick it up tonight and play it here and there while I'm playing. Like, it's one of those games you got to go hot and heavy for at least, 2 to 4 weeks to experience it, right?
I mean, you can just pick it up. It's a campaign. Like, you can just play it however you want.
Yeah, I guess where I'm coming from on that is the playing it with your friends aspect, right?
Sure,
now, if you're gonna play it solo, probably like I would, I think maybe you're right. I could play it at my own pace.
But the thing that's great about Borderlands is, and especially in Borderlands 3, is that with the way that it does the scaling, you can play and be way above your friends or way below them, and it doesn't matter,
Still
right?
Play with them.
Yeah, I mean, because it scales everything with you, and you can go and do higher level stuff, and you'll get good gear. And then now, the way that they have it, you decide which way you want to go, but you can make it so that the loot is the same for everybody, as opposed to it being different for each, character, or excuse me, like having one loot pool versus having, like, in Destiny, where everybody gets their own guns. Right. That's what we're used to now. But in Borderlands 2, like, you had to fight and divvy up the loot.
Yeah, you had to talk about it for a little while.
That was a big thing.
We're almost talking. I don't even think I need much to be talked into getting this game, because I always loved the Borderlands. I think maybe I'm thinking about it a little bit too much. I'm putting too much emphasis.
Man? Let's
we could totally do that. I'm thinking about I'm comparing it too much to like what I'm playing right now, or what I have played. It's just been so long since I played a Borderlands. Yeah. But I loved it, man. I love me some Borderlands. Where'd you get it on?
Fun. On Xbox.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I was curious.
I mean, the crazy thing is like, it's not even worth trying to touch it on PC, because I'm not going to say it's badly optimized, but the power that you've got to have to even run it at like 1080p is surprising. Like, I don't have the hardware I need to play that game on PC. So I just went with Xbox, but even in console is having some optimization and frame rate issues and stuff that's really surprising for a AAA game.
Console was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are having trouble across the board. So I'm frankly surprised that they put out a game with these
state.
kind of issues. Yeah, in this state. And it's another example of like, hey, you guys didn't announce this or anything. Like, you could have put this out whenever you wanted. You decided to, okay, we're ready and let's launch this game. I'm a little surprised that that's the case. And it has these kind of issues. And there was some really strange stuff going on with, with like the review embargo and like who got codes and the versions that went out.
I did see some of that cross my feed.
Been kind of funny. I don't know. Anyways.
Well,
those are like non-Destiny things I've been up to.
Yeah. Gears for me as well. I played a little bit of PvP, but that's like you said, where I love every aspect of Gears, but yeah, PvP is there's not been too many things over the years that has been as gratifying as just destroying somebody with a Nasher shotgun. Over the last many years, and just watching their character model just explode into just chunks of meat. Flesh. I don't know. I mean, it's it is a very satisfying PvP experience as long as the guns do what they're supposed to do. Back in the Gears 2 days, man, it got interesting. There was some weird lag and latency and delay and stuff that happened in that game, but I'm sure that's all lined out. We've played a couple since then. Anyways, what have you been up Destiny wise?
Man, trying to get these Shadow Triumphs done that I haven't finished.
Oh, really?
And,
okay.
The tough ones have really been getting like teams together and stick around long enough to do the menagerie boss kills flawless. So you have to do each one. So there's 3 different ones, right? And last reset, I was in some LFG stuff, and people you're not going to get it on your first shot. Like, you have to kind of work out a strategy, make sure everybody understands it, work the kinks out. And it's a little frustrating because when somebody dies, you have to start over. You have to run through all the heroic menagerie before that to get to that spot again. But people will just, bounce and leave like when things just don't go well, and it makes it hard to get it done.
Yeah.
And, but then I got a team together of friendly players, not through LFG, just pulling friends together. And we're working on this week's and did a pretty good job, but it got late. So I'm hoping I can finish that. Nice. If I can get each one done the weeks they come up for the rest of the month, I'll be done before Shadowkeep, and that's my goal.
Very nice. Yeah.
So continuing to try to work on those. They're really not that hard. You just have to have people committed to do it. So that you can, just like any other flawless attempt at something, like you just have to practice to make perfect.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of been my focus right now. That and just like slowly grinding away at Reckoner still. It's been seeing a lot of people get that title lately, and I'm jealous. But I'm not too far. Not too far.
Yeah, just I would love to get the Shadow title. I said that when we were speculating whether it'd be Shadow or not, but man, there's a lot to do there, especially raid related. So
it's such a cool name for a title. I want it.
It is so cool though. I maybe one day.
Yeah,
but
one day.
Yeah,
you could do it if you wanted. But that's about it, man. What else you been up to this reset? I know you haven't been able to play much, but
yeah, I've played a couple nights, and those nights, it was earlier on in the reset. I've been focused on my pinnacle weapons. I've kind of told you guys as I've gotten them. Last week was Wendigo. This week, I thought it was going to take longer than it has, but I'm just working on Hush, and I need one more game at reset to have Dredgen done finally. I was going to do that last season. Last season I hit up the triple infamy and just went on this tear with this LFG group. A bunch of nice Guardians. And I mean, we had like 15, it was like 13 to 15 wins in a row. And like the night before the season was over, I was 1 rank or so away from my 3rd reset. And it was like 4 a.m, and that LFG group had broken up just because some people needed to get off and kind of went on a losing streak here and there. And after they'd left, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. Like I gotta work tomorrow. Like it's okay. I'll get it next season. And so I'm like 1.5 away from resetting again to be able to get dredging, and then just working on that hush, man. Like I said, I had my Trinity Ghoul out and just been destroying. And I probably after 2 or 3 nights of playing it, I was super surprised at how far I had made it. The bow is doing way more damage than I thought, and it just wasn't. It's been fun. Like I was kind of dreading it. I heard some people talking about it in the Dirt Fam, and just using bows and Gambit isn't that great. And I just jumped over to my Warlock and have been leveling my Warlock, finishing him up, and having a good time. I don't know. It's been fun. I don't know. I think medals is all I need now. I'm at like, just like all the other quests, you finish usually the top one first and then the second one, and then you usually got that third one lingering a bit. So I need some more medals and I'll have it. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. And it's been long enough that I've played Gambit that I'm having a good time. You know, Gambit's always fun, but when I played it, that season, just trying to get those 3 resets done in one season, I was like, okay, I need a little bit of a break from Gambit. But if you don't play it for a while, it's a fun game mode. I have had those moments, weirdly enough, being a Crucible player, where I'm like, man, can I just play for a minute without having to worry about being invaded? Like, I just want to shoot stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird because I know it's obviously part of the point of the mode, but I've seen people like throw around the idea of Gambit with no invader. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? That seems silly. But after I've played it quite a bit, probably now as much as they have, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, it's a fun PvE mode. Like, it's neat. It's fun. And when you play Prime, it seems like every second you're like, oh, somebody's invading again. Like, all right, let's break up, quit the damage phase. And again, I know that's part of the fun when you're running with a crew, but I'm running solo, so it's a whole other ball game.
Right.
But I get it. I get where it could be kind of like a fun PvE mode. Take the invader out of it. Again, I know that's a big piece of it, but regardless, I'm having fun. I can't wait to get the Hush because I love bows, and I love when I used them quite a bit when Forsaken first came out. I got to the point where I hip fired a lot with them. I would even use them like at shotgun range. I would, just post up at a corner, wait for somebody looking at the radar, wait for them to come around the corner, and just pop that headshot and then finish them off. And Hush, I believe, if I'm still remembering right, if you hip fire a precision shot, right, it dramatically increases the draw time, I think. So I think that's what it is. So I'm excited to use that thing. I really enjoyed bows in the Crucible. So I'll let you know after I get it.
Yeah, an interesting take on invading and stuff that I think would be kind of cool. So if there was a mode in Gambit where, say, all right, you die and you're holding moats. Moats never go away. So like moats just last indefinitely, right? Until you get them into the bank. Okay. So that's part of the premise. And then you have way more moats that have to go in the bank. So instead of like 100 for Prime, it'd be like 200. So it'd be more moats, last longer, and your moats never go away when you die. But when the invader comes, right? So you can get killed by the invader, but the consequence is a little lower because your moats don't necessarily go away. They just get dropped, right? So somebody has to go grab them, or you have to go back and get them. But instead of the invader just looking to kill everybody, he's out there trying to look and steal your moats. Then the invader can kind of become also like a moat collector, and maybe he has like a top tier perk that lets him pick up like 20 moats, 25, 30, right? So he's going after the guy with the most moats, but he's also trying to kill that person and then go steal all their moats. So then the team is interested in also like protecting not just the person that died, but protecting the moats that they might drop.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's pretty interesting. Well, I mean, you hit on something big there. Is something to get the attention away from just killing guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole premise of your idea there. So that's a thought, man. I don't know. It's weird. Like I love PvP and I love Guardians versus Guardians, but something about Gambit, like at a certain point when you hear that somebody's invading again, you're like,
you can get weird. It can get weary. You can get weary having to deal with that.
Yeah,
I think that's
but it's fun though. It's a cool game.
I think that's what wears some people out on Gambit is like that pressure of, okay, I'm just trying to play and I'm trying to kill the stuff, and that's hard enough sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to collect the motes and I'm trying to get them to the bank, but then it's like, oh my gosh, okay, I got to go run and hide and defend myself again for the third time this match from the invader.
And it's so, it's prevalent in Prime because the whole point is to stand in the pool and do damage, right? So you got to break away and do the thing. Now, granted, if you're playing fire team versus fire team and you guys are on point and you're strategizing, like it's fun. It's a different game because, you're all on point, you're communicating and you know what you need to do. Not to kill that third wave of, boss and ads. So until the invader's gone, yada. But anyways. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I don't know that I've done anything other than level my warlock and work towards Hush this past reset. Played some Minecraft, actually. I was talking about Destiny, but I did play some Minecraft. I did do that. My son and I are still just building and building.
Nice.
Super fun. Yep.
That is fun.
Yep, it is fun. I don't remember. I might have mentioned this last reset. I can't remember, but we dabbled in the area of like, I think I did. In the Lego game, we started blowing each other's vehicles up and stuff. And it's so cartoonish in that game. It's just, we were just like laughing. I was in tears just laughing. Just a good time, man. It's fun. But anyways,
games that can make you laugh.
Yeah. There's always those that, man, those are the days, right? Couch co-op, end up in tears, just cracking up at certain things. That happened a lot. With my cousin and I playing GTA over the years, you would end up in tears in some Grand Theft Auto. Doing different stuff.
A lot of silly stuff you could do.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that's my reset, man. That's it.
Nice. Well, how about we do some Dirt Fam discourse?
Yeah, let's do it. I think we got an email this reset, I believe.
We do. I'll read it if you like.
Go for it.
Okay. Big Daddy Plaid, love that. He writes, a shadowy walk down memory lane is the subject in email. Says, hey guys, with the Shadowkeep news rolling in via the TWAB, I figured it'd be good fun to get your thoughts on a few things. While I'm sad to hear that the Dead Cliffs Crucible map will be retired, I'm very happy that Legion's Gulch will be leaving and Widow's Court and Twilight Gap will be returning. What other D1 Crucible maps would you like to see return and why? Personally, I miss Frontier. So many Guardians were taken out as they ran down the middle of that bridge. Oh, the memories. Also, are there any exotics that you just wish would return? How I miss thee, Twilight Garrison. Sniff. Anyways, thanks guys. Big Daddy Plaid, Titan Main, soon to be Bubble Titan Main on the Xbox One.
Very nice.
What do you think, man? Favorite
the Titan bro
maps you'd like to see come back?
Surprisingly, I didn't have to think about this one long. And again, surprisingly, what type of map it was in D1. I think it was, I always got it confused with another map, but was it Anomaly that had the thing in the middle that spun?
Yes.
Okay. I loved that map. I would not have liked a map like that. I never really cared, like back in Call of Duty, like the small maps, you run around. But that map was fairly small. It had its long lanes around the outside. But you could run through the middle there and get anywhere super quick. But I don't know what it was, but when I ran No Land and Shotgun, that map, because one reason why I always loved No Land so much was on maps like that where you could square up with hallways. And peek and get weird angles, and it worked so well. And then I had a shotgun on top of that, so that's probably why I liked it so much. We also got on that map, one time we got an error code, like on the final game for the Lighthouse. I think it was like 3 to 4 or something, and we were making a comeback and we got errored out and couldn't go to the Lighthouse. I do remember that. But we also me and a couple Dirt fam, you remember back in the day when you just kept going for wins after you went to the lighthouse to try to get that scarab emblem?
Mm-hmm.
We did it on that map. So maybe that's why I'm so fond of that map. But I think it was actually Spooky Trials weekend. They did that map on Spooky Trials, and I really enjoyed Spooky Trials.
I kind of love-hated that map because of, like, Anomaly always meant, like, shotgun rushing. You know, it was a real up-close map. But then I thought about one of my favorite PvP clips I had from Destiny 1, and I was kind of on a little tear, like a two or three kill spree in Trials, I think. And I just killed a player and I had to get across the middle of that section to go take out, I think, a Titan that was chasing one of my friends to that back hallway. And I jumped onto the spinning platform just right that it gave me like twice the momentum to like rocket forward and come behind him and put a shotgun on his head. It would not have been possible any other way than by using that spinny thing.
Doing that.
And it just looked so cool. It was an interesting map. It definitely was. Yeah. It was a little divisive,
I like that
though.
map, man. It was hard. One area it was hard on, I think, in Trials is when you went to the tiebreaker. It would drop it right there, I think, where B was in control.
Yes.
And, man, that was hard to
tricky.
lock that down. Super hard to lock that down. But anyways, that's my map.
See, two maps came to mind. The Rusted Lands. How do we not have Rusted Lands back?
Yeah, yep.
But then I was thinking about Trials, and you said Spooky Trials. I'd really like to see Cauldron come back.
Oh yeah, I
love that map.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. That was the isn't that where it had the center area and you could go out on the like platform on the left and then inside. Yeah, dude, because that doorway right there in the center just became high traffic zone.
Yeah,
and if you could flank, you'd do it while everybody was chilling watching that lane. How many times you get that no-land snipe as the door was opening or closing? Because that door did open and close, didn't it? Right there on the... Yeah, they all did.
And you know what's interesting about both those maps that we brought up? They're circular.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
They're just good maps.
Yeah, they were.
What about exotics? I know you want... your favorite sniper no-land. Beyond to come back.
I have to pick another one.
What else would you like to see, though?
Well, I would like to see Twilight Garrison. Now, if we're talking armor, like Twilight would be amazing. I completely agree with Big Daddy on that. No Land, of course. You tell me one, and I'm going to try to think of something else. I know I always say No Land.
Well, I definitely want Plan C to come back.
That's your No Land.
Yeah. I think a cool one in the right situation would be to see Vex, any of the Pinnacle raid weapons to come back. Some Vex class, Touch of Malice, Necker Chasm. If there was the right situation, I would love to see any of those return because they were so iconic and so cool.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I was actually going to pull up my Destiny 1 item manager.
Oh, man. I haven't brought that up in a long time.
It's come up like a time or two on accident, and I'm like, wait, what is happening? What is this?
How do you even get into that?
It's so funny.
It's like a button you click.
There it is. Yeah, yep. It's like the little three line menu button. You can click back over to Destiny 1. Yeah, I'm looking at it right here, man. Let's see what we got. We got the Young Wolf's Howl sword. Remember that thing?
Oh yeah. Didn't it do like additional burning damage or something?
Let's see. Man, it's weird where the perks are.
Tlaloc would be pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, Zalo, dude, that just popped up.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that weapon very much in PvE.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
There you go. We could bring on a bunch of fun stuff.
I mean, there it is right there, dude, setting in my vault. The Gallahorn.
Jolly, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Good Jolly Horn.
Yeah.
A lot of fun
But No Land would be number one.
A lot of fun, good stuff we've had come back, and I'm looking here and seeing like exotic weapons that I totally forgot about, man. Like Fever and Remedy. Like I don't even remember that gun, but that was a Rise of Iron gun, I think. Hand cannon. And then Kvostov was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
I would love to see
I've heard rumor we're seeing Monte Carlo come back with Shadow Keep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was in one of the trailers.
Be pretty cool. Some of these we've gotten, like Cirrhosis come back. Invective would be kind of fun. Invective was
that was an interesting one.
Kind of divisive because you could generate your own ammo, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So many great guns. So many.
Yeah. I'll have to throw it at the listeners in the community, of course.
Yeah. Can I just get my Dark Drinker back? That would be great.
We've heard you mention that a time or two.
Yeah. Do you remember Nemesis Star, the machine gun?
I think so, yeah.
So like when you first pulled the trigger, it'd do a higher rate of fire.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. So many cool weapons that they've come up with over time. I don't know.
Bring them all back.
Bring them all back.
Actually, don't do that. They might get some feedback on that.
Yeah,
as long as each one they bring back is accompanied with a new exotic and not a hand cannon.
Right. Thanks for that email, Big Daddy Plaid. Great topic. Send us what you would like to, if you're listening, someone else, not Big Daddy Plaid, but send us what kind of exotics and maps you'd like to see come back from D1. I have some good ideas that we didn't think of.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening, if you want to send us an email, you can send it to destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com or a SpeakPipe, which is like a voicemail, speakpipe.com/destinyreset. Do you have any patron shout-outs this week?
We do not have any new ones.
Okay. If you're listening, you don't know what a patron is, go to patreon.com/destinyreset. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the production budget of our show. Get a few perks, get a shout out on the podcast, you get your gamer tag on our website, and you get an invitation to our Discord channel just for Dirt Fan patrons and supporters. And let us thank all the continued patrons. Lots of you.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Quite a few of you that give month after month. We appreciate you.
Thank you all so much. It means a lot.
I think we can call this a show.
I think so, yeah. I'm interested to see what else these twabs bring us over the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Hey, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at AER0KNIGHT with a 0. What about you, man?
All right. You can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter. You can find us, Destiny Reset, on Twitter or on the web, www.destinyresetpodcast.com. It's your source for all things DRP, including links to subscribe on your favorite podcast app of choice. Don't forget we're now on Spotify and Podbean. Whatever you prefer, we'll try to be there for you.
See all you Spotify followers.
Yes, we do. Hey, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thank you for your reviews. I know we have a new one, right?
Yeah, we got actually a new 5 out of 5. No written, and that's okay, but we see you still. We know when you guys give us some new ones. We got 320 now. Crazy.
Wow. 320 Guardians. Thank you for all those reviews. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please go leave us a review, even if you just drop some stars there, because it helps us get seen when you're looking for a Destiny podcast on Apple Podcasts. And we want to find more listeners.
And it's, according to our written reviews, it's happening because we're pumped with all the Guardians that say they're coming across our podcast. And then ultimately, what's really cool is they join the Dirt Fam Discord. We're getting so many new members, dude, like just daily. People hopping in the Discord, quite a few. So it's really neat, really cool. And this is pre-Shadow Keep and New Lights.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hey, and as good a time as any to mention, if you're not part of our community, come on and join us at discord.gg/destinyreset.
Yep. Bunch of extremely awesome, extremely nice Guardians.
It's true. They're really nice. It is very true. I got to give a shout out this week to 2 Guardians who sent me some stuff from PAX. Thank you so much. Ooh. You know who you are. I might have instigated the sending, but they did it.
I followed through.
I did follow through.
That's the important part.
Thank you. All right, man.
Hey, dude. Yeah. I think that's it. It's Sunday night, dude. We haven't recorded on Sunday night in a while. You guys are going to be getting fresh.
It's a fresh
take
it's a freshie.
From Arrow and Cyborg. This
right.
reset. All right, guys. Until next reset, have fun playing Destiny 2 and take care, Guardians.